Here we are at Dulles International Airport, and it's been about a couple of years since we've flown on a plane because of the pandemic. I was a little nervous at first, but it ended up being a smooth process getting through the airport, and our flight wasn't too bad. We rented a Nissan Rogue and drove to our Airbnb rental in Kissimmee, Florida, which is about 5 miles or 6 miles from Disney Hollywood Studios. So the townhouse that we got is a 2-story house. You'll see the dining table there, and over here we have the living room where we would relax after a long day at the parks, the kitchen on the right. We are going to check out the backyard. You have some nice comfortable seating to the right there, and we have a nice little pool which we didn't get to use a lot or at all because we were at the park mostly. So we'll go back in and check out a couple of the rooms down here. This townhouse actually has 3 full bathrooms and 1 bedroom down here, which we didn't use this one. We were all upstairs. Getting to the top of the stairs, and to the left is the master bedroom, and it's got a nice big huge king-size bed, and this room also has its own bathroom with 2 sinks that you'll see there, and to the left here is just the toilet room. Heading out of the master bedroom, to the right is the laundry, and down this hallway, straight ahead where Bella is pointing, is the owner's closet. And this bedroom, right over here, is the 3rd bedroom in the house, and this is the bedroom that Isabella would be taking. The 4th and final bedroom in the house has 2 very comfortable full-size bunk beds, which was Nathan's room, and right out here is the 3rd bathroom of the house with a walk-in shower and 2 sinks that the kids used. After touring the house, we went out and grabbed some dinner, brought it back home. We unpacked a little bit and went to bed soon after. Good night. The day greeted us with some really nice warm and sunny weather. We headed to Disney Hollywood Studios, which was only about a few miles from our Airbnb. We were about an hour early, so we had to wait a little bit, but wasn't too bad. We were inside the studio before we knew it and headed to our first attraction. The first ride that we got on was called Toy Story Mania, And in this ride, we got to wear a pair of special 3D glasses, and we board a carnival-inspired tram that spins around, and we use this spring-action shooter, and we shoot at an array of moving targets. while Mommy and Nathan went on Slinky Dog Dash. In Toy Story Land, Isabella and I checked out Galaxy's Edge. We are on the planet Batuu, which I believe was inspired by Luke Skywalker's home planet of Tatooine. It was really fascinating to be on Batuu. We saw a TIE fighter there with stormtroopers, and the mountains, the terrain, and just the buildings really reminded you of what it would be like on a Star Wars planet. And you have a life-size replica of an impressive Millennium Falcon right there. So a couple of items on our wish list for Galaxy's Edge was to get on Smuggler's Run and Rise of the Resistance. Maricel was able to book Smuggler's Run on the Genie Plus app starting at 7 a.m. this morning, but because we weren't staying on property, we had to wait till 9 a.m. to book Rise of the Resistance, and when we did, we got a 6 p.m. slot. And by the way, the Lightning Pass for Rise of the Resistance was $15 each, which was better than waiting 145 minutes. There were a few kiosks like this one in Galaxy's Edge where they sell souvenirs. They had vests and fans, sweatshirts, pins, and there was one particular orange jumpsuit that was selling for, I think, over $200. When we rejoined with Maricel and Nathan, we went right back to Toy Story Land and rode on the alien swirling saucers. The experience on this ride was really no different than the teacups. They just spun you around and around and around. I think I almost threw up at one point. We then headed to Sabby's workshop for our lightsaber building appointment, and while we were waiting, we were checking out the types of lightsabers we were gonna build. The gatherers took us into this dark cave to build our lightsabers. There were 4 lightsabers available to us. They were Peace and Justice, Power and Control, Elemental Nature, and Protection and Defense. And we chose Peace and Justice and Power and Control. We had 4 Kyber crystals to choose from. The Kyber crystal is the heart of the lightsaber, and it determines the color of the blade. The blue crystal, wielded by Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker before he became Vader, and Rey. The green crystal was wielded by Qui-Gon Jinn, Master Yoda, and Luke Skywalker. And the purple is the rarest crystal, and it was wielded by Mace Windu. And finally, we have the red Kyber crystal. This was the color of power, the color of the Sith. It was the Kyber crystal for Darth Vader and Kylo Ren. And this is the part where we get to choose our Kyber crystal, and it looks like Isabella chose the red Kyber crystal. We are then handed a tray of lightsaber parts. On the very left, we have the chassis, and then right next to it are 4 sleeves. We picked 2, and then we have the end caps to choose from, and then finally the emitters and the switches. The first step was to put the Kyber crystal in the middle of the chassis, and it lit up once placed in there. Putting on the switch over the Kyber crystal was next. Then the sleeves were screwed on either end of the chassis. And the last part before putting on the blade was the end cap. So these lightsabers are pretty weighty. They're pure metal, so they got a good weight to them. The highlight of our lightsaber building experience was when the lead gatherer saw that Bella had a power and control hilt, and this is what he had to say.
Power and control? For one so young? What kyber crystal is here?
Red.
There are those who will despise you for the choices that you make. But we believe there is no light without dark.
I mean red,
You have a vital role to play in history. Remember, it was the mighty Sith Lord Vader who ended the corruption of the old empire with his own hand, not Luke.
And he's absolutely right. It was Vader who killed the Emperor in the Return of the Jedi, and it was Kylo Ren who killed Snoke in The Last Jedi, and also Palpatine for the second time in The Rise of Skywalker. And it was so cool to see those blades turn on. Everybody held on to their lightsabers and held them up, and the lead gatherer welcomed all the new Jedi, and he went over to Isabella and made it a point to say, "and Sith," which was kind of funny because she's the only one wielding a red lightsaber. I have to say, this was a fun, immersive experience. We did have a little problem earlier with the end cap. It looks like there was a problem with the threading, but one of the gatherers was able to replace it and it was working fine after that. Overall, it was great. We could have bought a lightsaber from one of the stores, but having this experience was definitely worthwhile. Right after building lightsabers at Savvy's workshop, Nathan and I ran over next door to get on the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. Maricel and Bella already got on this experience while Nathan and I were waiting at Savvy's workshop. The story behind this very interactive ride is that we are on a mission to steal some precious cargo from the First Order TIE fighters. There were 6 people on this particular ride. The 2 in front were pilots, the 2 in the middle are gunners, that's what Nathan and I were, and the last 2 people behind us were engineers. This was such a fun ride. The role that Nathan and I had as gunners, we basically had a red button that we needed to continue pushing, and you'll see those beams of light on the left and the right. Those were the phasers or the lasers that's coming out, and our goal was to basically destroy any obstacles in front of us as the pilots steer us through space. After a few hours of walking around and getting on rides and attractions, it was nice to have a little sit down at the Hollywood Brown Derby. Isabella enjoyed a nice filet for this late lunch. Maricel and I each had the Brown Derby signature burger. Nathan had a grilled chicken, and for dessert we enjoyed a chocolate coconut cake and a decadent flourless chocolate mocha cake. After the Brown Derby, we just hung out and walked around a little bit until we headed over to our main attraction, which was Star Wars: Rise of the Resistance. The story behind Rise of the Resistance is that we, the audience or guests, are new recruits, and we are headed to rendezvous with General Leia. However, on our way there, we are captured by the First Order, and the entire experience from that point on is our attempt to escape. So I'm going to pause commentary from this point on and let the audio from the escape experience play on.
A probe droid? You're lucky it didn't spot you. Take those turbo lifts and stay out of trouble. Hey, you're not authorized. Wait, those are the prisoners. Find an alternate route. These two droids escape pods just follow us. Take the list down. Hurry! This does not look good. Try to find another way down to the escape pods.
The Resistance will attempt to rescue the prisoners.
They have neither the resources nor the courage to engage us.
You underestimate their conviction. Raise the shields!
Shields? I see no evidence.
Now!
All personnel to their stations!
Sir, the prisoners have escaped.
How brave, but ultimately hopeless. There's nowhere to run.
Personnel, abandon ship. I repeat, abandon ship. This destroyer's about.
There's no escape. You will tell me the location of the secret base, and then I will destroy you and the Resistance.
Your escape pods came in a little off target. Ground crews will meet you outside the wreck.
All right, nice job, recruits. Not what you signed on for, but hey, you're resistance now. I think I have that authority. Right, Beck? Where's the lieutenant? I need eyes on Beck. Line up, stand for his pocket.
Lieutenant Beck here.
Beck! You're alive!
I should hope so. Great job, recruits. Thanks to your heroism, the location of the resistance base is secure. Bravo! SR5, you too.
Oh my gosh.
That was so cool.
Oh my gosh.
I like that. I like that. That drop. Is that okay for you?
Oh my gosh.
That was so cool.
The final ride for the day was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. I sat this one out, so it was only Marcel, Bella, and Nathan who got on this ride. This ride was a trackless ride, just like the Rise of the Resistance. And the story behind this one is that guests get transported into a cartoon world. It was a super fun day at Disney Hollywood Studios, and the highlight of the day was no doubt Rise of the Resistance. At this point, we were headed to our Airbnb to get some rest, and tomorrow we head out to Universal Studios.